Before you hit that play button, ask yourself, would you ever dare to walk alone through 2,000 miles of wilderness where thousands of people vanish every year? If you're brave enough, subscribe now. Because tonight, we're stepping into the shadows of the Appalachian Trail, one of the most haunted hiking routes in America. These are not legends. These are real stories told by hikers who never saw the world the same way again. It was early morning when Tom, a solo hiker, began his journey near Georgia. The fog hung low, the trees silent, too silent. He stopped for a moment to drink water, and then he heard it, a woman's whisper, soft, almost kind. "Keep walking. Don't look back." He froze, scanning the empty path. No one there. But the whisper came again, closer this time. Later that night, his camp neighbor told him no one had been behind him for miles. When Tom checked his GPS log the next morning, it showed a second figure walking right beside him for over an hour. Yet he'd seen no one. A couple from North Carolina shared this story in a local forum. They were hiking near Clingman's Dome when they noticed a tall figure ahead. The man moved strangely, swaying side to side. When they finally caught up, the figure turned and both screamed. The man's face was smooth. No eyes, no mouth, no nose, just pale, featureless skin. He didn't move toward them, just stood still until they ran back down the mountain. Authorities searched the area later that week and found no footprints except the couple's. In 2016, 3 college friends camped deep in the Tennessee section of the trail. They laughed, made a fire, and recorded funny videos. When they woke up the next morning, their tents were still there. But the forest had changed. The trail behind them was gone. Every direction looked unfamiliar. Hours later, they finally found a road and waved down a truck. The driver stared at them in confusion and said the area they came from had been closed for over 20 years after multiple disappearances. When the friends checked their phones, all their videos were corrupted, except one, a clip showing a 4th person sitting by their fire. Locals near Virginia tell of a girl who went missing in 1993. Hikers often report seeing her at dusk. Long hair, white dress, silently walking along the cliffs. One man, a war veteran, swore he saw her hanging from a tree, only for her to vanish when he approached. The next morning, park rangers found scratch marks on the same tree, like fingernails had dug into the bark from someone struggling to climb down. Even creepier, the man's camera had a single blurry photo of her looking straight into the lens. Rain poured heavily that night, and a lone hiker named Ben sought shelter in an old wooden hut. He lit a small candle and saw someone sitting in the corner, drenched, head down. "Rough night, huh?" Ben said. No answer. He offered food. Still silence. When lightning flashed, Ben realized the figure's clothes were completely dry, despite the storm. He ran outside in panic, and from behind him, a calm voice whispered, "You shouldn't have left me alone." Rangers found Ben's gear the next day, but never found Ben. A search party once reported hearing distant screams echoing from the Smoky Mountains. Every night at exactly 2:47 a.m. The sounds were recorded, but never traced. When played backward, experts claimed the voice was repeating one phrase: "Follow the fire." Since then, some hikers have reported seeing flickering lights deep within the woods, moving like torches. But when they get closer, the lights vanish, leaving behind only the faint smell of smoke. A hiker named Laura documented her trip through a GoPro. She followed the map carefully until she saw a small cabin that wasn't marked. Tired and hungry, she knocked, but the door opened on its own. Inside, everything was covered in dust. A single plate of fresh food sat on the table. She turned to leave, but the door slammed shut. When she finally escaped and checked her footage later, the cabin never appeared on camera. Just trees. Endless trees. In 2019, a ranger described an area where no sound exists, no wind, no birds, no footsteps. He called it the quiet zone. When he tried to cross it, he felt pressure in his ears and began to bleed from his nose. As he turned back, he saw a figure watching him from the other side, wearing the same ranger uniform and the same name tag, but his eyes were black. The ranger quit the next day and never returned. A family of 4 vanished on the trail in 1981. Only their youngest daughter, then 7, was found 2 days later near a ranger post, barefoot and terrified. When asked what happened, she said, "Mommy and Daddy followed the tall man into the trees." The girl grew up and refused to ever hike again. In a 2015 interview, she revealed that she still dreams of that tall man, always whispering, "It's your turn to come back." Many hikers tell the same story. You're walking alone. You hear soft footsteps, matching your pace. You stop. They stop. You start walking faster. They do too. But when you finally turn around, there's nothing there. Some hikers record the sounds at night, only to find 2 distinct sets of breathing on playback. A group of hikers once found an old wooden chapel, miles from any marked path. Inside were hundreds of candles burning, but no one inside. A Bible lay open on the altar, the words underlined in red, "And they shall walk forever, unseen among men." When one hiker took a photo, the image showed shadowy figures standing in every pew, though none were visible to the naked eye. Somewhere near Virginia, there's a stream where the water runs red after midnight. Scientists blame mineral deposits, but locals know better. In 2009, a camper followed the stream upstream to find its source. He never returned. 2 years later, another hiker found his backpack with a note that read, "Don't drink the water. It remembers." In 2021, a travel vlogger named Ethan went missing while filming a solo trip along the trail. Police found his drone footage days later. The last 10 seconds show Ethan staring into the lens, whispering, "I thought I was alone." Then something behind him reaches out, pale fingers wrapping around his shoulder, before the video cuts out. His body was never found. So, if you ever decide to hike the Appalachian Trail, remember, every rustle in the dark, every flicker of light, and every whisper might not be your imagination. They say the forest keeps the souls of those who never left, and they're always looking for someone new to join them. If you're still here and your lights haven't flickered yet, congratulations, you made it to the end. But the trail isn't done with you.